John D. Rockefeller died in 1937. His family has been spending his money for 87 years straight, and they're still not done. Most fortunes disappear in 3 generations. His just didn't. The question isn't how he made the money. The question is, what system did he build so the money could never leave? There's a saying in old money circles: shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. The Irish say it. The Chinese say it. Even the Japanese say it. It's so universal, it's basically a law of wealth physics. 70% of wealthy families lose it all by the 2nd generation, 90% by the 3rd. Rockefeller beat that statistic so badly, it's almost offensive. Today, the Rockefeller family, across 6 generations, controls assets estimated between 8 and 10 billion. That's not luck. That's not old money laziness. That's a deliberately engineered system. And here's why this matters to you right now. The tools Rockefeller used aren't locked in a vault somewhere. Most of them are available to anyone with the right knowledge. Today, I'm going to break down 5 pillars of the Rockefeller wealth architecture, the ones that actually explain why his money never died. Everyone knows Rockefeller built Standard Oil, but most people miss how he thought about it. Rockefeller didn't think of Standard Oil as a business. He thought of it as a machine that built other machines. Every dollar Standard Oil made went straight back into infrastructure: pipelines, refineries, distribution networks. He was vertically integrating before that term existed. By 1882, Standard Oil controlled 91% of U.S. oil refining. Not because he was lucky, because he obsessively reinvested before he spent a single dollar on lifestyle. The lesson? Wealth compounds when you treat your income as a factory, not a paycheck. Most people earn and spend. Rockefeller earned and deployed. He was asking one question every single time money came in: what asset does this dollar become? That's it. That's the mindset shift. What asset does this dollar become? Here's where it gets really interesting. Rockefeller didn't just build wealth, he architected it legally. The vehicle? Dynasty trusts. A dynasty trust is a legal structure that holds assets across multiple generations, sometimes in perpetuity, while shielding them from estate taxes, lawsuits, and bad decisions by heirs. Here's the brutal math of estate taxes without protection. A $10 million estate passed down 3 generations could shrink to under $2 million after federal estate taxes alone, at a 40% hit each transfer. Rockefeller's trustees structured assets, so the family used the wealth without technically owning it. The trust owns the assets. The family benefits from them. This means no estate tax bite at each generation. No heir can blow it all on a yacht. The principal stays protected and invested. This isn't just for billionaires anymore. In states like South Dakota, Nevada, and Delaware, dynasty trusts can now be set up with as little as $1 million, and the wealthy know it. Dynasty trust assets in the U.S. now exceed $1 trillion. That number was basically zero 40 years ago. The system Rockefeller pioneered is now quietly protecting thousands of American families. The question is your family using it? Now here's where most people get it wrong about Rockefeller. They see the philanthropy, the universities, the foundations, the libraries, and they think, well, he gave it all away. He didn't. He gave strategically. Rockefeller created the Rockefeller Foundation in 1913. That foundation became one of the most powerful tax-advantaged investment vehicles in history. Here's the mechanism. Donate appreciated assets into a private foundation. Get an immediate tax deduction. The assets grow tax-free inside the foundation. The family controls where the money goes, including grants to institutions they care about, and in some structures, back into family-controlled enterprises. It's not charity. It's charity that doubles as a financial engine. This is the same playbook Gates uses, Buffett uses, Bezos is starting to use it. The IRS literally built a tax code that rewards this behavior. Because foundations fund public goods the government doesn't want to pay for. You don't need $1 billion to start. Donor-advised funds, the entry-level version of this, can be opened with as little as $5,000, and contributions grow tax-free until you deploy them. Rockefeller wasn't the first person to engineer a self-perpetuating financial dynasty. He was reading from a much older playbook, the Medici family of Florence. In the 1400s, Cosimo de' Medici built the Medici Bank into the most powerful financial institution in Europe. But here's what history books skip. The Medicis didn't just accumulate wealth, they institutionalized it. They tied money to art, to the church, to political power, to things that couldn't be liquidated in a panic. Rockefeller did the same thing 500 years later. He tied money to infrastructure, to trusts, to foundations, to education. He made the wealth sticky, connected to so many systems and institutions that unwinding it would require dismantling civilization itself. The lesson? Durable wealth is always attached to something bigger than itself. It's not in a bank account. It's woven into the fabric of society. If your wealth exists only as a number on a screen, it's fragile. The families that survive generations attach their money to hard assets, institutions, and legal structures that outlast market cycles. Okay, here's the angle you won't hear anywhere else. Everyone focuses on Rockefeller's strategies, but the real secret was who he trusted to execute them. Rockefeller employed a dedicated team of lawyers, accountants, and financial architects full-time, specifically to manage, protect, and grow family wealth. He treated wealth management like a profession within the family. Most families today, even wealthy ones, treat financial planning like a task, something you do once a year with a guy at a brokerage. Rockefeller treated it like running a company. There were meetings, reports, board-level decisions about capital allocation across the family portfolio. The Rockefeller Family Office, one of the first true family offices in modern history, still operates today as Rockefeller Capital Management, managing over $100 billion in assets. Here's the contrarian point. The gap between the wealthy and the ultra-wealthy isn't the strategies, it's the infrastructure around the strategies. Anyone can open a trust, anyone can start a donor-advised fund, anyone can reinvest their income, but the families who sustain generational wealth institutionalize the process. They build systems, not habits. If your wealth management plan disappears the day you stop paying attention to it, it's not a system, it's a hobby. Let me give you the one-sentence takeaway. Rockefeller's wealth didn't survive because of what he made. It survived because of the architecture he built around what he made. The 5 pillars. 1, treat income as a factory, not a paycheck. Most people think in terms of effort, hours worked, salary earned. But wealth isn't built on effort alone. It's built on output. The wealthy design income streams that scale, multiply, and run independently. Businesses, investments, royalties, these are factories. And once they're built, they don't stop producing. 2, use dynasty trusts to make wealth inheritance proof. It's not enough to build wealth. You have to defend it. Without structure, even massive fortunes disappear within a few generations. Dynasty trusts exist to solve that problem. They create rules that outlive you, protecting assets from taxes, lawsuits, and even your own descendants' mistakes. It's not about control. It's about continuity. 3, use foundations and donor-advised funds to make giving a financial strategy. Giving, at the highest level, isn't random. It's engineered. The wealthy use structured vehicles to direct capital with precision, gaining tax advantages while shaping causes they care about. It allows them to give more, keep more influence, and think in decades instead of moments. 4, attach your wealth to something that outlasts you. Cash fades. Even investments can be temporary. But ownership in enduring systems, companies, land, intellectual property, creates momentum that carries forward. When your wealth is tied to something that keeps evolving, it stops being personal and starts becoming generational. 5, build a system, not a habit. Habits are fragile. They depend on mood, energy, and discipline. Systems remove that uncertainty. Automated investing, structured saving, recurring decisions, these create consistency without effort. The goal isn't to rely on willpower. The goal is to make wealth building inevitable. These aren't hidden secrets anymore. They're frameworks, proven, documented, and increasingly accessible to anyone willing to learn. But access isn't the advantage. Execution is. Because most people will hear this, agree with it, and still do nothing. So the real question is, are you going to apply this or keep watching other people build what you could have built? If this video shifted how you think about generational wealth, hit the like button. It helps this channel more than you realize. And if you're ready to go deeper, watch this next. How to set up your first dynasty trust in 2025, or why 90% of wealthy families go broke, and the 10% who don't. I'll see you there.